Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being all here today, and it's a pleasure to open this event and welcome you all. Let me thank Mr. Patrizio de Tos, which is the president of Confindustria Est Europa, Mr. Dr. Baldoni, representing the Italian embassy with the Institute of Trade Agency, and all our colleagues from Confindustria Serbia, the director, and so on. So thanks for being here. Let me also start thanking the companies that will speak today: Aquafil, Cossa Polimeri, and Lati. These are three excellent examples of the Italian industry. They are leaders, not only in Italy for the polymer sectors, but worldwide. And we are really proud to have them with us today. So thank you for being here. Let me also thank our sponsor, Italian, Besser, thank you so much, and UniCredit. UniCredit is not just a sponsor today, but is also a partner of Confindustria East Europe, Est Europa. We really appreciate their support. Thank you. Just a few words about who we are. Confindustria Ungheria is the association of Italian companies working in Hungary. Our goal is to make business do businesses. We give practical support, create connections, and assist companies when they face struggles. In short, we are a sort of a trade union of the companies. We are part of a larger Confindustria network in Italy. Just to give you an idea, Confindustria represents over 150,000 companies in Italy, and the together companies represent more than 65% of the Italian GDP. This gives a significant role in the Italian economy. What does this mean for us in Confindustria Ungheria? It means that we are not alone. We are connected to a strong network in Italy. This connection helps us to keep in touch with the Italian institution and other companies conducting business abroad. We are also part of Confindustria Est Europa, as I said, which brings together all the Confindustria branches in the Central and Eastern Europe. This collaboration allows us to share experiences and create new opportunities across the region. Today, we'll also have the presence of Confindustria Cisambiente, that is also a very important part in the recycling and the environmental policies of Confindustria in Italy. I'm especially pleased to welcome today the president of Confindustria Est Europa, Mr. Patrizio de Tos. Thank you, Patrizio, for being here and for bringing the support. So I wish you all a very good event. Thank you. Okay, for the first time in my life, I will be a translator, so hopefully I will do a good job, so forgive me if not.
I don't want to read the message because I'm more natural when I speak in Italian, so I approfit for your help. Io voglio salutare tutti quanti e ringraziare tutti quanti, a partire dal presidente Massucco Roberto, la direttrice anche Nicoletta Tomasi e Silvia Meringhi, che ha aiutato e ha dato l'opportunità di questo evento, Antonio Schiro, nostro collaboratore da sempre, e tutte le istituzioni e tutte le persone che oggi hanno partecipato e hanno sponsorizzato questo evento.
Okay, so I would like to thank, first of all the presents, starting from the president of Confindustria Ungheria, the director, Nicole Tomasi, Silvia Merighi, which is the heart of this event today, Antonio Schiro, which is part of the board also in Confindustria Serbia.
Italia e Ungheria diciamo che sono partner economici da parecchi anni, da sempre. Sono arrivati oggi a uno scambio commerciale 2024 di più di 8 miliardi, quindi vuol dire che questi due paesi stanno collaborando molto attivamente. Su tutti i settori, innovazione, sostenibilità e l'automotive che oggi diventa molto il focus.
So Italy and Hungary has always been partners, business partner, very important business partner. Now in 2024, the figures reached 8 billion turnover. And the relation has always been in all different sectors of activity, starting from innovation, sustainability, and now automotive, and that's also why we are here.
Ecco, a questo punto vi vorrei ricordare una cosa, ci sono tre bisogni importanti di un uomo, no? C'è mangiare, bere, che è il primo bisogno, il secondo bisogno è quello di ripararsi e il terzo bisogno è quello di muoversi. Quindi ecco che lo scheletro di ogni economia si basa food, si basa nell'immobiliare, real estate, e il terzo si basa nell'automotive. E voi siete parte di questo scheletro importantissimo che sta avendo un focus, visto i cambiamenti che ci sono in corso, non indifferenti. Quindi siete dei attori principali di quello che sta succedendo nel mondo.
Okay, the needs of a man are basically are many, but the first three are food, so to eat, to take cover, so real estate, and to move. So the mobility, and the automotive in this case, and the people which are here today are the ones who are involved in this, and so you are actors of this growing world of this mobility need of the man.
Ecco qua si apre un panorama enorme, no? Perché oggi il polo delle produzioni di auto elettriche in Europa sta diventando l'Ungheria. Dopo lasciamo perdere quali possono essere le interpretazioni a bene e male, eccetera, perché ne abbiamo discusso anche prima, è molto difficile oggi sapere quale sarà il futuro, però comunque il polo delle auto elettriche in Europa sta diventando proprio l'Ungheria. Quindi c'è una transizione verde in corso, ci saranno sicuramente delle catene di fornitura per queste evoluzioni e l'Italia sarà partner ancora una volta di tutte queste evoluzioni. Le piccole e medie industrie avranno sicuramente grande...
La mia memoria non è... Okay. Among automotive, as we all know, the electric is taking more and more space due to the sustainability and the green politics in Europe. And Hungary is becoming the focus point of the electrical production in Europe. Okay, we leave all the consideration if it's good or bad, the electrical and so on, but it's a fact that the e-mobility will be the future, and so the actors playing the role in the automotive here today are for sure the companies that will overlook the future.
Però devo parlare di Confindustria Est Europa anche, no? Confindustria Est Europa diciamo, ha una mission, cioè quella di portare, creare opportunità, aiutare tutte le imprese e ne abbiamo bisogno anche in Italia. Sapete che Confindustria in Italia, l'ha menzionato prima il presidente Massucco, ci sono più di 150.000 imprese, ma rappresentano più di 5 milioni e mezzo di addetti. Però queste 150.000 imprese sono tutte opportunità per internazionalizzare, per portarle ad avere, diciamo, sviluppo verso altri paesi. E l'Est sta diventando diciamo, ampliamento naturale di queste aziende del nostro continente vecchio, tra virgolette, chiamiamolo Italia, Germania, Francia, avranno sempre più bisogno di questi paesi che stanno galoppando e stanno diventando il motore anche delle nostre economie.
Okay, so let me spend 2 words about Confindustria Est Europa. Confindustria Est Europa, as we said before, it's a part of the network of Confindustria in Italy that has been said also before, represent 150,000 companies with more than 5 million workers and employees. Confindustria is looking at the internationalization. The internationalization policy is growing very much within Confindustria, and that's why Confindustria S Europa will play and is playing a very important role in the opening of this concept of internationalization, because it will go in all over Europe and especially in the East. The East countries will be the one facing the biggest develop, and Confindustria Est Europa want to be there to play a role.
E qui mi faccio un po', intanto voglio ringraziare anche UniCredit perché ci sta supportando, e supportare queste nostre strutture diventa importantissimo. Voi capite che anche qui in Ungheria, con la presenza di Confindustria, ringrazio veramente il presidente Massucco, ma chiederei anche a tutti voi, anche quelli già associati, eccetera, catechizzate il più possibile, perché Confindustria Ungheria e Confindustria Est Europa è il rifugio per tutti gli imprenditori italiani che vogliono sviluppare degli affari, crescere, eccetera, e dove possono trovare risposte anche a tutti i loro problemi, anche piccoli problemi. Quindi essere in tanti vuol dire creare una forza e creare una unione e una possibilità di crescita per tutti quanti. È un'opportunità per tutti. Catechizzate quelli che vi stanno vicini, cerchiamo di crescere tutti insieme.
Okay, in order to do that, first of all, we want to thank UniCredit, because UniCredit, as a sponsor, as a partner, is helping us to develop our structure, which is very important. And here comes let's say a pray to help us to catechizzare. I don't know how to say it anyway.
Sono riuscito a mettere in difficoltà.
Yes, yeah. To spread the let's say the association to Confindustria, in this case Confindustria Ungheria, but all the companies in Confindustria Est Europa, because we really need your support and your help to become to grow, because if we grow, if our network becomes more important, it will be easier for all the companies associated to be networking, to be in touch, and to do business together.
Grazie veramente, grazie a tutti quelli che hanno partecipato, grazie Presidente, grazie per la traduzione.
Okay, thank you all.
Yeah, I forgot that. Oh, sorry. No. I forgot to say that I will introduce now Dr. Sassone. He is coming from Cisambiente, and hopefully he will explain to all of us how the recycling is going to be made in the future. Please.
Thank you so much, Silvia. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, all the participants. For me, before of everything, it's an honor to be here to represent as technical director Confindustria Cisambiente. Someone before me was talking about development of an association. We born in 2016, and we were only 11 enterprises. And now we are about 1,400 companies with a turnover of 40 billion euros and about 50,000 employees. Let me tell you what is our mission in circular economy, in plastic recycling, about this world of the circular economy and the greener economy. Our mission is to promote a widespread culture, environmental culture, to support all our companies to develop this kind of transition Recycling, and above all, plastic recycling, has become a very important part of our Italian economy. And we support our enterprises, our companies, to make this transition greater. Our patronage to this event has a strong alignment with our strategic vision to promote through our companies the Italian excellence, the innovation, the sustainability above all. And for this reason, we think that the automotive sector is strongly connected with the main goals of our companies. It is crucial for future mobility. And we think that by supporting the development of this sector is important for this kind of supply chain. Plastic material recycling is strategic for us, for our companies, and we have an economic and legislative framework that is now strongly developing. We have been assisting to the release of the so-called SIUP directive, the packaging regulation, the new packaging regulation, and we can assist that in Europe there is a big transformation about your legislative network, supposing that you are all involved in this kind of sector. This legislative framework is important for us to support, to define according to the goals of our companies. And there is an important regulation that now is on discussion in UE Commission. It is the ELV regulation. It's important for us to calibrate, to regulate this kind of regulation according to the spirit, to the aim of plastic and sector of recycling. Let me tell you just one more thing in conclusion. We are convinced that collaboration with institutions, with enterprises, with our companies and the research world is fundamental to grow up together, to develop a plastic recycling sector more and more stronger. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome and thanks to be here. My first, let's say, comment will be a very, very big thank, but with my heart, my really heart, to the guy who gave me the possibility to make this dream come true. He couldn't be here today, and Mr. Luca Posca, I met him at the exhibition last year in Fakuma, in Germany, and he trusted on me. So we couldn't make this one because he trusted on me and he gave me the permission to start. Because he is the sales manager, marketing director, research manager, I don't know, but he's my contact in Lati. So thanks to Mr. Luca Posca. This is the first thank. Second thanks that I want to say is to Fabio Giacometti. He pushed me to do it. So like always, he has very good ideas and he pushes others to do it. And I am that one. So now I start my speech. Thank everybody to come here. 50 years ago, a car was mostly made of steel. Today, it's plastic that dominates the modern vehicle. But not just any plastic. We are talking about lightweight, advanced polymers, engineered for strength, durability, and sustainability. And that's what we are here to learn about today. Good morning. My name is Silvia Merighi, and I am the delegate of plastic sector in Confindustria Ungheria. I am also the CEO of MSP Group and consultant in the recycling plastic market. Sorry. If you produce compounds for vehicles, then understanding polymers isn't optional, it's crucial to staying competitive in a rapidly evolving market. These cutting-edge polymers are lighter than steel, but even stronger. They reduce emission, improve fuel efficiency, and open new doors for design and performance. Understanding the latest research in polymer science isn't just academic, it's strategic. If you are designing the next generation of components, you need to know what polymers can do for you, which ones are best for your needs, and what your competitors are already doing. The materials evolution is happening now. We are here today to help you plan for it. We are really very lucky to have speakers from 3 of key compound producers, leaders in European and worldwide market, Lati, Aquafil, and Cossa Polimeri. To begin the journey, we are first of all going to hear from Ben Hargreaves, Sales Area Manager from Lati, one of the leading compound producer in the European market. He is going to guide you through the key polymers, you need to understand and plan for the future of automotive manufacturing. Lati addresses the evolving landscape. I am very small. Sorry. I need some help. No problem. Lati addresses the evolving landscape of the automotive industry. Lati highlights the critical need for materials capable of managing a high electrical voltage, ensuring safety, durability, and performance. Its extensive range of self-extinguishing compounds cover polymers, including PP, PA, PBT for standard applications, PPS, PPA for high temperatures, and PEEK for extreme conditions. Lati materials integrate advanced features such as flame retardancy, UV stability, and thermal conductivity through a specialized Lati counter line. Lati also offers solution enhancing, sorry, this word is very difficult, sorry, Ben. Enhancing electromagnetical compatibility for electrical applications. Now Ben will take the stage.
Okay. We'll adjust that for the short person. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Sylvia, and thank you to the wider Confindustria team and to Besser for organising the event and giving us the opportunity to speak to you today. So in this presentation, I'm going to start by introducing Lati, for those of you who are not familiar with us. Then I'll talk through some of the challenges in the automotive sector that Lati can address through its technical compounds. And then we'll take a look at what's going to come next and some of the new things that we're working on now. So before we get going, though, my English is quite good, I think, but sometimes it's a little bit too fast. So if it's too fast, please tell me. But fortunately, we have this huge screen, and I will put lots of pictures on there. So if you don't understand me, you will see what's happening, hopefully. So who is Lati, then? So we are an independent manufacturer of high-performance polymer compounds for injection molding. We're a family-owned company, so we're now on our third generation of the Conterno family. So you'll see in the picture here on the right-hand side, our current president, Michela Conterno, and sitting next to her, her father, who retired from that same position a couple of years ago. And 2025 is a very special year for Lati because it's our 80th birthday, so 80 years of providing high-performance technical compounds. So we have a number of events going on throughout the year to celebrate that milestone. We'll take a quick look at some numbers. So Lati, we like to think of ourselves, sorry. Better? Yes, thank you. So we like to think of ourselves as a small-sized multinational company. So what that means is we have the capability to produce around 40,000 tons of material per year across production plants in Italy and China. We have a turnover of around 200 million euros, and we employ around 300 people. And we think this size is good, and we think it's a strategic advantage to us because it comfortably gives us the capability to meet high volume requirements of our high performance customers. But at the same time, it means we can retain that agility and flexibility to be able to really support our customers, hands-on with their technical requirements. One of the ways that we do that is by developing bespoke formulations. So at any one time, we have something like 2,500 active formulations in our recipe book, and many of those were developed specifically for bespoke customer requirements. The other way that we think it's important to support our customers and the way that we distinguish ourselves from perhaps some of our bigger competitors is through the level of technical support and technical service that we can provide. So for us, that means being there, right the way through from product development, tooling development, all the way through to serial production. So we have a very strong team of R&D scientists, technical development engineers that are able to support us in that work. So what does Lati do then? Well, okay, what we do is we develop, manufacture and supply high-performance compounds with enhanced functionality. Now, unfortunately, 2,500 compounds is quite a lot to try and summarize in 2 or 3 slides, but let's have a go, shall we? So if you're familiar with the polymer pyramid, well, if you're not, this is what it looks like. And the point to note here is that Lati We operate all the way from the bottom to the top. So Lati has grades based on everything from polyprop in the commodity section, through the engineering polymers, all the way up to the high performance and high temperature materials at the top end of that pyramid. Our expertise is mainly on the semi-crystalline side, but we also offer the amorphous grades that you see here. And because we're talking about high performance applications, generally what that means is we're working on the engineering polymers and above. But we do offer these in the commodities, as I say, but where we do drop into the commodity polymers, it will always be with some particular special functionality with it. So what we don't really get involved in is some of the very high volume applications for automotive interiors, let's say the PCABS, PCASA. We leave those sort of things to the experts at Cossa Polimeri to handle those types of things. So that's the base polymers that we use. And when I talk about enhanced functionality, these are the sorts of things that I'm talking about on here. So if you only remember one slide from this presentation, this is a good one to remember because this summarizes quite neatly what Lati offers. So we'll pause for pictures if you want. I mean, please do listen to the rest of the presentation, but if you only remember one thing, this is the thing to remember. So we'll take a look at a few of these in turn then. So the structural materials, these are the materials that have got high contents of reinforcement fibers, typically glass, carbon fibers, very high strength, stiffness, impact performance. So these are grades that we can use to replace metals in a more lightweight way. The flame retardants is by far and away the biggest group of materials that Lati offers, and it's where Lati originally made its name, and it's what we're still most famous for today. So all of the grades you see here, we have flame retardant versions and many, many versions of them. So of the 2,500 compounds that we have, around 300 have got active UL yellow cards, plus we have lots of other independent fire certification and in-house certification on grades as well. So fire retardancy is absolutely a big area for us, and that covers halogenated flame retardants, red phosphorus flame retardants, and a lot of halogen-free and red phosphorus-free systems as well. Big area for Lati. After that, the next biggest area for us is the self-lubricated materials. And again, we have everything from polyprop to PEEK. We have numerous self-lubricated grades. Historically, people always used to ask for PTFE-filled grades. Now we're seeing more and more people coming to us for PTFE-free solutions in light of potential PFAS restrictions that might be coming in Europe next year. But that's an area where we have a lot of expertise. So we can provide a whole host of PFAS-free self-lubricated materials, as well as, let's say, the more traditional PTFE-containing ones. We have particular expertise in grades which are electrically conductive or thermally conductive. So the electrically conductive materials will be used in areas where we might want to prevent static charge buildup, or it might be in areas where we want to provide electromagnetic interference shielding for sensitive electronics. The thermally conductive materials are used really in any sort of application where you want to dissipate heat away from components. So I'll talk about that a little bit more later, but thermally conductive plastics can compete very, very well with metals for dissipating heat in a much more lightweight and sustainable way. We have grades that offer improved aesthetics. Quite often we combine that with structural performance. So we have grades that have got the very, very good mechanical properties that can replace metals, but at the same time that have still got an excellent surface finish that you could use for visual quality parts, for example. So there's no need for secondary painting and processing steps for those materials. We take our sustainability responsibilities very, very seriously at Lati, and as part of that, we have a growing number of grades which incorporate bio-based or recycled content, and you'll hear a lot more about that from Aquafil later on. I think the thing that I just want to note on this slide is that, when we think about bio-based and recycled materials, that absolutely does not mean that we have to compromise on technical performance. So what you won't find at Lati is grades that we're selling just because they are bio-based or just because they are recycled. What we do is we take those base materials and we put them into all of these other functionalities that you see here. So we can have thermally conductive grades based on recycled content, flame retardant grades based on bio-based content, for example. So that's really how we work with those materials. More recently, we've started to offer 3D printing materials, and again, it's the same idea. We offer all of these functionalities that you see here, but in 3D printable materials. And for us, the focus is on large format additive manufacturing, so LFAM, LSAM, or whatever other names it goes by. So in automotive, the kind of things we're working on tend to be more towards the high-value, low-volume stuff. So we have companies that are using these materials to print single-sided mold tooling for carbon fiber composites processing. We also have companies that are interested in using those materials to print models for aerodynamic testing or ergonomic assessments, for example. Okay, so that's what we do, and this is where we do it. So I've said we're a small-scale multinational company, but we do have global presence, very strong in Europe. We also have sales offices and manufacturing in China to support the local markets out there. And in the last few weeks, we've announced a joint venture with India that allows us to produce for local markets there as well. Likewise, we've had a long-standing relationship in the States with a distribution and toll manufacturing partner to support customers in North America. And finally, then, a quick look at the applications that we support. The big one for us is electrical and electronics. So these are, super high volume components where we're supplying, truckloads of material on a weekly basis to customers. But each kilo has got to meet very, very strict requirements around fire performance, mechanical properties, and so on. So high volume, but tight tolerances required on performance. Appliances is a similar thing for us. Lots of flame retardants and self-lubricated materials with very, very stringent requirements in high volumes to these sorts of sectors. Other areas we work in quickly, HVAC, automotive, we'll talk about later today. Food and drink, so it's not just fire certification we do, we have a lot of certification for other areas too. Lighting, railway, medical, safety, and industrial applications. So you'll see all of these are, very, very technical, very high performance requirements, very high volumes in some cases as well. So that's the kind of thing that we can combine at Lati. But as I've said, it's more than just materials. It really is all about the whole package with Lati. So that includes this technical service, which includes things like structural analysis, assistance with injection molding, technical training for our customers, extensive lab testing to develop new materials, and this R&D team that helps us to develop new grades to meet emerging requirements of our customers. Okay, so that's the introduction bit over with. So now let's have a closer look at what we do specifically in automotive. And the first thing to note here is that automotive is really a key market for Lati. So looking at where we are today, transport as a whole accounts for about 1/5 of our sales, and I would say a significant chunk of that is automotive. And that's just looking at the stuff that we can draw a direct line between us and the end user. We also know that a lot of the customers that take our materials and use them to make connectors, switches, and so on in the electrical and electronics industry, actually those components are ultimately destined to end up on a vehicle somewhere. So the true figure is probably a little larger than this. But we don't want to stand still. We want to grow further in automotive, so we're investing time, money, and effort to do that. And as part of that, within the last 12, 18 months, we've obtained our IATF certification to help us grow further in this market. So absolutely, we're keen to see this 20% figure grow over the coming years. You'll find Lati products right throughout the vehicle, wherever there are technically challenging requirements. So areas like lighting, around the fuel system, cooling and heating systems, vehicle powertrains, vehicle electric systems, switches, sensors, and so on. And this is just an idea of some of the OEMs where you will find our materials. In some cases, we supply directly to the OEM. In other cases, we're working through the tier manufacturers. We do both. So those applications bring with them a challenging set of requirements. It might be broad operating temperatures. Of course, there's a need to keep weight down. We need to resist various automotive fluids, as I'm sure you all know. Yes, we need mechanical performance. We might need electrical conductivity. We don't very often do interiors, as I say, but where we do, we need to make sure we've got a very, very good surface finish. And then if we're dealing with moving parts, then we need to deal with wear and friction on those parts. But hopefully, from the slide before, you can see how those requirements map on very nicely to the types of functionalities that we can offer at Lati. So let's have a look at a few examples of these. If we start with some of the engineering materials, then some of the examples here are this engine cover, for example, where there's a requirement to withstand heat for long periods of time, and also a mechanical requirement to that. So this grade that we supply here is a nylon 6 with mineral fillers, very good for long-term heat stability. We supply materials that go into fuel injectors, quite small components, but very tight dimensional tolerances, but again, quite a high mechanical performance requirement. In this case, we supply a 35% glass-filled grade. If we need even better mechanical performance, better temperature performance, better chemical stability, then this is where the structural materials and the high-temperature materials come into play. So applications like this cooling pump on the bottom left-hand side here, which uses a semi-aromatic polyamide, a PPA, with 45% glass fiber. So we're starting to get to higher loadings of fiber now for these really tougher mechanical requirements. It might be carbon fiber, like the fuel line connectors on the right-hand side. So actually, in those cases, we're using carbon fiber maybe to give us the mechanical properties, but also to help with anti-static performance in those connectors as well at the same time. Or if we need something with a bit higher temperature again, then we have PPS materials with 40% glass fiber, for example. Self-lubricating materials are used in a variety of bushings and bearings. So this example shown on here is a high-temperature version based on PPS with PTFE and aramid fibers as the self-lubricating additives. Our electrically conductive materials are used in anti-static applications like this fuel filter cover here. So this grade is based on nylon 6,6 with a combination of carbon fiber and other carbon-based additive fillers, with glass reinforcement as well for mechanical properties and anti-static properties. And you'll find our thermally conductive materials in applications like this pump cover here. Again, there's a mechanical requirement, so we combine graphite fillers with glass to give us that combination of mechanical performance and thermal conductivity to help us dissipate heat away from this system. Like I said, we don't very often get involved in interiors, and when we do, it's pretty specialized. So these materials here are designed to provide a cold touch. So for interior components where you might want to make something out of plastic, but you still want that look and feel of a premium component. So these are the sorts of materials that we offer in those instances. And all of that is great and very exciting, but as we've heard already, all of the real growth, of course, is in electric vehicles. Unfortunately, that's an area where all of Latti's expertise in flame retardants, in high-performance compounds, really sits nicely and matches well. So in these instances, we're looking at applications like motors, power electronics, converters of various types, battery packs and the associated power distribution, charging systems, and various bits of connectivity as well. So, as I say, exactly areas where Latti's expertise, particularly in flame retardants and these other functionalities, really matches up nicely. The requirements, of course, are no less challenging, and in many cases even more so. Very high fire performance requirements in most cases. Of course, there's a big target to reduce weight to compensate for the additional weight of batteries. We need to manage heat throughout the battery system and various electronics. Lots more electronics means lots more requirement for shielding some of those components. We still need to resist automotive fluids, particularly coolants, be they hydrocarbon or water-based. We need to deal with stray currents, potentially, and very high ones. And we need to maintain performance over a period of time at elevated temperatures. But again, all things that match up very nicely with the types of functionalities that we can offer at Latti. So just quickly, if it's high temperatures, we've got the grades, the PPSs, the PPAs, the peaks to deal with that. Thermally conductive materials we can offer. Electromagnetic shielding I've mentioned, all the way up to 90 decibel shielding efficiency. Chemically resistant grades we can do throughout the range. And electrically conductive materials, we have a range of options to deal with those as well. So let's have a quick look at some examples. As I say, a lot of these do have a flame retardant requirement. So these two examples here are nylon 6,6 glass filled using halogen-free flame retardants for charging guns and for the other side of that on the connectors. We also see a lot of customers looking for PA12, maybe PPAs for this type of application as well. We see lots of requirement for flame retardant PBTs for connectors and coatings, in this case bus bar coatings. Again, both of these are required to have a mechanical performance as well, so these are glass filled, again flame retardant with halogen-free flame retardants. Not always glass filled though, there's not always a mechanical requirement, so for this safety cover that you see at the bottom here, really the target here was developing something that was very good flame retardant performance at low thickness. So this is a material that delivers UL94 V0 at 1.5 millimeters and allows a continuous use temperature of 120 degrees C in this nice bright orange color, again using halogen-free flame retardants. But it's not just flame retardants. Thermally conductive materials we use a lot in lighting industry as well, and I'll talk a little bit about that later. In this case, really high loadings of graphite to get very good thermal conductivity to take heat away from these high-powered devices. And shielding we've talked about as well. So this grade here uses a combination of steel fibers and carbon fibers to shield some sensitive components under the bonnet. You'll have noticed on there that a lot of that, of course, is orange in color, and it's probably worth spending a couple of minutes just to talk about that, because it's relatively unusual for high technical compounds where color is so important. But it's an area where, again, our expertise in making bespoke formulations for people over 80 years is very well suited. So it's not without challenges, though. So the first question is, okay, it's orange, but which orange is it? There is no universally agreed standard, I would say, at this stage. We're starting to see a little coalescence. So in Europe, mainly a focus on RAL 2003, whereas in North America, maybe more on RAL 2008, RAL 2011 are a little bit more common over there. But then once we've got the color, of course, we need to make sure that components stay that color so they remain easily identifiable. But how are we going to age those components? And not everybody does that the same. Not all OEMs want to do that the same way. Of course, not all components have the same requirements as well. So we need to think about, okay, well, what are the operating temperatures? So at the simple end, it might be minus 50 to plus 85 with a peak temperature of 100. But at the more complex end, it might be minus 50 to 150 with a peak of 175. So we need to take those sort of things into account. We need to think about how long we need to age them for. Again, simple applications, maybe 1,000 hours is enough. More complex systems and more, let's say, more exposed systems around batteries might need 1,000 hours of aging. 8,000 hours of aging. And then we need to think about, are there any other requirements as well? UV resistance, for example, and various other things. And then once we've aged the components, okay, well then what? What does good look like? Or what does acceptable look like? And again, there are no universal standards on this area yet. Some companies are quite good and they provide a delta E, so they know what they want, they know how much deviation they can accept from before and after aging. But a lot of companies, it's a couple of guys in a room going, okay, well, yeah, this one's good, this one's not so good. So it's challenging, but we're able to deal with that and work with that. And as I say, the good thing is for Lati is it's an area that we've got lots and lots of expertise on. So sitting here today, we have a full range of orange compounds in a variety of different RAL colors. And in all of those cases, we've tested those for the stability of that color after aging. Some of those materials are under test as we speak as well. Also, of course, it's important that we test for retention of other properties. It's no good remaining bright orange if we've lost the fire performance or lost the mechanical performance. At least you'll be able to see the bit that's on fire, but that's... The materials that we work on here are typically, again, halogen-free and red phosphorus-free, which helps to give us those bright colors as well. We offer grades that are glass-reinforced and unreinforced. Right now, we have grades based on PA6, 6.6, PBT, but we're also working on things like PPS and other semi-aromatic polyamides as well. So yes, new grades are being developed all the time in this area. So that's what we're doing now, and we'll finish off, and I have no idea what time we're on, so somebody can tell me if I'm running massively over. We'll have a quick look next at what... Okay, I'll go quickly. So what we're looking at next then is a more sustainable future. So as I said right at the start, for Lati, it's more than just offering a few grades of material. Really, it guides everything that we do at Lati, and this is one of the benefits of being a family-owned corporation. We can put real focus on this. So of course that means adhering to all of the the existing standards. We have very, very good quality systems, and we can add to this list now the ISO 50001 for our energy management systems. But we recognize that compounding is an energy-intensive process. But where we do need to buy energy from the grid, we make sure that that's 100% certified green energy. So overall, our combined efforts in this area put us in the top 1% of similar companies, according to EcoVadis ratings. So this is something that we're very, very proud of. But we need to take, an even broader look at, okay, what happens to our materials, where do they go, and what happens to them at end of life. So we're talking to our customers about how we can assist them with part recovery and recycling of materials. When we're offering grades to customers, we provide them with full data to make informed decisions. So we're not interested in greenwashing. We're able to provide global warming potential data to our customers for all of the grades, and we have a dedicated team working on life cycle analysis. So when customers are looking at these options, they can make an informed choice as to the real defined benefits of switching to a bio-based grade, let's say, versus a virgin grade. Reuse and recycle is one part of sustainability, but the other part, of course, is making sure that components last as long as possible in the first place, and this is an area where plastics are good in any case, and we're working to make sure that the bio-based and recycled versions perform just as well and can last for many decades, like some of our existing materials have already been shown to do. We're also working on design for a more easy repair as well, so the right to repair, as you've probably heard around. So that's something we work closely with customers on. And we take a close look at what happens internally, so the materials we use in-house to ensure the safety and sustainability of our own in-house operations. So we're at the point now where we're able to offer, let's say, clones of our most popular and historically most widely sold grades, but in a more sustainable version, let's say. So for example, flame retardant materials, glass-filled flame retardants, nylons, big sellers for Lati. We're now able to offer equivalents where the nylon, we replaced the virgin nylon for 100% chemically recycled nylon from our friends at Aquafil that you'll hear more about later. And we're without any compromise on mechanical performance, and the same full yellow card for the chemically recycled base material as we have for the virgin material. So it allows customers to easily swap from one to the other. We do the same thing with some of our thermally conductive compounds as well. So this is an example of an LED lighting heat sink. This particular grade here is made with nylon 6 with 50% graphite. It can dissipate heat just as well as aluminium, but it's lighter. You have the design freedom, of course, that comes with plastic, and it has a much lower environmental impact. And now we have a customer in the UK that's been using this grade for several years, and they've recently switched. They've recently switched to this version, again, where we take the virgin PA6 and we replace that with 100% chemically recycled PA6. No reduction in thermal or mechanical properties, and even lower environmental impact. So just quickly to finish off then, just to show you that, if we take a look at the global warming potential for the let's say the virgin plastic one, it's comfortably better than primary aluminium. But actually that's not really the right calculation, because if I'm swapping out an aluminium heat sink for a plastic one, I'm not replacing 1 kilo of aluminium with 1 kilo of plastic, because the density is so much different. So actually we need to look at it on a per unit volume. And if we do that, we see that even the virgin plastic one massively outperforms one made from primary aluminium. Okay, so you might say, okay, well, nobody uses primary aluminium, we all use recycled aluminium, okay? But even if we look at a 50% recycled aluminium, we can see that the plastic version still massively outperforms that. And the really cool thing now is that if we switch that virgin PA6 to chemically recycled PA6, we cut the GWP in half again. So a really, really strong environmental case for switching from an aluminium material to a thermoplastic heatsink. Okay, so just in summary then, and just to, I guess, reiterate why you should choose Lati, we have 80 years of uninterrupted experience in high-performance compounding. We're focused on automotive as a key strategic area for future growth. We have a wide portfolio of top-quality, tailor-made materials. We have a global presence and the ability to manufacture locally to support customers around the world. We keep our eye on market trends and work closely with OEMs to keep abreast of new developments. And we offer a full all-round package of technical support to help our clients bring our materials and use them to develop high-performance parts. So that's it, hopefully on time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ben. Now, this is too high for me, unfortunately, sorry. Now it's my great pleasure to introduce our second speaker, Nicole Soligo, EP Product Manager, ECONYL at Aquafil. A heartfelt thank you to Giulio Bonazzi, who, starting from selling raincoats, figured out how to chemically recycle dirty fishing nets and create a sustainable polyamide without using virgin material. This is really unbelievable what he has done, so thank to him. I am very excited about this product. And we have a real, we can show a dress made of ECONYL. Yes, Fabio? We can show a dress made of ECONYL. Want you to be a model today?
Thank you, Silvia. It's the first time that I am a model in my life.
Yeah, but which model? It's wonderful.
Thank you, Silvia.
Handsome. Thank you. So this is the real example. ECONYL is a chemical recycled polyamide, as I told, so it is virtually identical to nylon, but, and this is the most important thing, it doesn't need fossil fuel base material. Nicole will tell you all about it. Please, Nicole.
Okay, thank you everybody. Thank you so much for Silvia and for Fabio. Thank you for the model, I would say. So, so I'm Nicole Soligo. I'm working in Aquafil as product manager. And today I will, as Silvia introduced, I will talk mostly about ECONYL. That is our chemically recycled polyamide 6 that Aquafil, let's say, invented in such a way a few years ago. So let's start a little bit with the story also of Aquafil. Aquafil is an Italian company. We are based in Arco, in the north part of the Garda Lake. And we have the quarter there, but then we have companies all over the world. We are an international company, and we are mostly known for the polyamide. So we only produce polyamide as polymers, okay, but with a big range of, let's say, applications. And we are mostly known for the ECONYL that I will go through during my presentation. So just a few numbers, we are around 2,400 employees all over the world, around 500 employees only in Italy. This was the turnover of 2024 and the EBITDA. But where we are, so we are, let's see if it's working. Not so much. Anyway, so we have the headquarters in Italy, where we have also the polymerization plant. So it's our bigger plants in Italy. The second bigger plant is in Slovenia. So I would say not so far from here. And where we have the second polymerization plant, and this where we have the depolymerization plant. So our sustainable material, ECONYL, our recycled material is coming from there. And Silvia also had the chance to visit it. So, and in Slovenia, it's also where we mainly collect all the waste because we have to change a little bit the idea when you start working in Aquafil that our raw material is no more the caprolactants or the monomer coming from benzene, but our raw material are waste. So we need a lot of space also for this waste. Very dirty waste that has to be managed in such a way. So we have some collection points in USA, in South of America, in the north of Europe, and we collect all this waste in Slovenia, of course, close to our depolymerization plant. And so we need also a lot of space for the waste. Then the other plants that you see, especially in China and in USA, they are mainly spinning plants because Aquafil, it's a chemical company, but let's say our main business is not in the polymer side, but is more in the yarn side. So as also Fabio shows with the garments, let's say we have three different business units. The biggest one is the business unit of carpets yarn for carpets. For example, it should be that the carpet that we have below our foot, it's made in ECONYL or at least polyamides from Aquafil, because we are one of the three biggest producer in the world of yarn for carpets, and especially the carpets that is used in hotels or in this kind of conferences room. They are made of nylon because it's more resistant respect to polypropylene or polyester. And so this is, let's say, the part of the company that is giving up the salary at the end of the month. But then we are also very known, especially for ECONYL, in the textile business, because it's where we started many years ago. So we started with the ECONYL story in 2011, more or less, and the first business that really accepted the value of this chemical recycled material were the luxury. So we started collaborating with Gucci, Stella McCartney, and a lot of big brands that at the beginning really wanted to have this new material, recycled material that were the same performance as the virgin one. And last but not least, that is the part that I'm working for, is the polymer and compounding division, because now we want to grow more and more in these sectors, because, okay, with the carpets, we are the leader, so we are going as the market is going, and you see less and less carpets, so especially in the residential side. The textile part, it's nowadays more an Asia, let's say Asian market. So we want to grow in the polymers and compounding divisions. So just to give you an information, in 2023, the percentage was 7%. Now it's 11%. So it's really the part where we are growing more. So going a little bit more in the polymer side, we have 3 different grades. So we have the grades of Aquamid, that is, let's say, the virgin polyamide 6 and polyamide 6,6 that we are compounding. Then we have the Aquamidar, that is our mechanically recycled grade, because being a textile company, we have a lot of waste from our spinning lines, because every time that you change the color, you change the title of the yarn, you have some waste. It's normal. And we can recycle it. Of course, it's really a nice and high, let's say, value of waste, because it just did one melting process, so it's still a very good material, and that's why we are mechanically recycling it and not chemically recycling it. So in this way, also, we are not only in the chemical recycling, we are mainly, but we also give value to the material in order to have a more quick also and sustainable recycling process, that is the mechanical one, for example. So especially in the compounding business, we also give a space to this mechanical recycle grade. And then there is ECONYL that I will go through later on. So just to give you a few info also on the application, the sector where we are working with compounders. For example, we are working a lot with Lati, supplying our base polymers, ECONYL, and also, let's say, the normal polyamide 6. Then we are working with extrusion companies, and we are also mainly working with injection molding companies for the compound divisions. Just a few words. I mean, we are not as, let's say, for the compounding side, we are mainly producing standard compounds. So compounds with the glass fibers, with mineral filler, with the elastomer, so not as, let's say, technical are the lattice ones, but we are a good satisfied in the market now, honestly. And another thing, sorry, coming back, so for what we are not able to produce, because we don't have no knowledge, we have a partnership with Lati. So, for example, for some of more technical application with some specific compounds, we are working with them. So they are, let's say, compounding with our resin. So comparing, let's say, the mechanical properties, here I put you 3 different grades. So the unfilled polyamide 6, the one with 30% of glass fiber, and one with the impact modified, with 3 different resins. So you have the ECONYL, so the chemical recycled resin, the Aquamid, that is the polyamide 6, normal, virgin, and the Aquamidar, that is the mechanical recycled. And you can see basically there are no difference between the ECONYL and the Aquamid, because the mechanical performance are exactly the same. And now that I will explain, let's say, the chemical recycling, you will understand exactly why. Otherwise, with the Aquamidar, so with the mechanical recycling, we have a little bit of lower mechanical properties, but this is, I think, a compromise that also the industry can accept. Last but not least, regarding this comparison, I wanted also to highlight a little bit the advantage in terms also of global warming potential and recycling content. In particular, with the ECONYL, we have it's 100% recycled, 50% at least coming from post-consumer waste, and the rest is coming from post-industrial waste. And the advantage is that we have a global warming potential that is lower than 1 kg of CO2 per kg of products. Just to give you an information regarding if we are comparing it with the virgin material produced in Europe, it's around between 6 and 8 kg of CO2 per kg of products. So it's really, really a reduction. It's around 80 or 90% of CO2 saving if you are using a chemical recycling process. So going a little bit in detail with the ECONYL. ECONYL, it's a regenerated nylon. It's coming 100% from waste material. For example, fishing nets, carpets at the end of the life, and fabrics. Now also we have built a new plant just few months ago, that we are able to separate the elastan from polyamide 6, because the main problem also, for example, in the jacket that Fabio is wearing, there is not only polyamide 6 in the the fabrics, but there is always a mix of polyamide 6 plus elaston to give elasticity into the fabric, no? And this is a issue for the recyclability until a few months ago, because now we built a pilot plant able to separate these two components, and this will let us also the possibility to collect a lot of fabric waste that contain also the elaston. Especially they are mainly used for swimwear applications, sportswear applications, so we can increase our range and our portfolio of waste that we are collecting. So sorry if I'm boring you with a little bit of chemistry, but I will be very, very, it will be not so hard, I will promise you. So this is how the caprolactam is made. So caprolactam is the monomer that is used to produce normally polyamide 6, okay? When you produce polyamide 6, these rings are open and you can create this long chain. Unfortunately, the material that is coming out from our plant or from other plants producing polyamide 6 is like this, but when it comes at the end of the life, it is full of other things. It is full of impurities, it's full of dye stuff, of pigments, additives, other material, etc. So unfortunately, with the mechanical recycling process, if you're putting this inside the extruder, you will have the same results, even worse, after the extrusion. But with the chemical recycling process, you can divide and separate all the impurities from the monomer. So you come back to the monomers, but in this case, the monomer is not coming from benzene, so from oil, from petrol, but it is coming from waste. This is really the advantage. And all the other impurities will no more be present in the final product. So going a little bit in detail in what are the steps that we have to do. It's basically the first step for us is not to buy the caprolactam in this case, in the case of ECONYL, but we have to buy and to find the waste. So first is product waste, PA6 based, of course, in our case. We have sometimes, depending on the waste stream, we have to separate and to do a pretreatment, mechanical pretreatment, to separate what is nylon waste and what is not. And after that, we start with the depolymerization. So from nylon waste, it becomes caprolactam, that is still a little bit dirty, I would say. And then from caprolactam, we have to do the purification. Sorry, maybe you don't see it because it's really in the bottom of the slide. Anyway, the purification I will go through, it gives us the possibility to remove everything from the caprolactam, because after the first depolymerization, there are still some impurities inside, but we have to remove everything. Otherwise, the polymerization after that is useless because you will still remain with the same issue as the mechanical recycling, impurities. So we have to remove it. So this is really, really the crucial point of our process. And after that, all the steps are the same. So coming back to the caprolactam, but recycled in this way, we can do whatever we want. So we have a range of products that is exactly the same as the range of products that we do with the standard polyamide 6. We can do viscosity that we want, color that we want, whatever, really. We don't have any, let's say, limitation. So going a little bit in details, what are our waste streams? Our waste stream are post-consumer waste and post-industrial waste. In particular, these are the biggest waste stream, not the only ones. The first are all carpets and fishing nets. These are post-consumer materials, so it means that they have already finished their life, and normally, if we are not introducing ourselves in these hubs, the normal end of the life of this material is landfill. Okay, so we are taking this material before they are going to the landfill. We are paying for them, of course, and we are collecting them on our facility. Then the other material, the post-industrial material, we are mainly collecting them through our customer. So it's our customer in the carpet industry, in the textile industry, and now in the engineering plastic industry that have some waste, of course, from the production, and they are selling this waste to us. Okay, so we are also doing a kind of take-back systems with them. So then after, this is just an example, we've done one of the waste, for example, the carpet one that we are mainly collecting in the USA. USA for three main reasons, I would say. The first one is because they are using a lot of carpet in USA, still a lot. Second reason is because the structure of the carpet is more or less the same. They don't have so much invention as we have in Europe, maybe. So it's really, really a standard carpet. And this let us the possibility to industrialize the separation, no? Because if it's a huge range of carpet, it's also hard. We cannot do it by hand. We have to industrialize it. And the third reason why we built this plant in USA, so the separation plant in USA, is because they also are forced, in not all the states, but in some states, especially in California and Arizona, they are in such a way pushed by the government to dismantle in the proper way these carpets. And this is also helpful and let's say economically a push that the government is giving. So in USA, we are collecting more or less 16,000 tons of carpets per year, so really a huge quantity. And then a carpet from USA, it's built more or less in this way. So 35% is nylon 6, the upper part of the carpet. Then there is a primary backing in polypropylene, and then the rest is calcium carbonate, glue, and other bad things, unfortunately. So we are separating all these three parts. Of course, for us, the most important is nylon 6, and the rest we are selling in the local markets. And so after doing this separation, we have the nylon waste. Okay, we normally pelletize it just because if it's just a fiber, it has a big volume but small weight. So we pelletize it. We ship it to Slovenia in Ljubljana. And in Ljubljana, we started the polymerization. So in Ljubljana is where all our waste stream are coming. So the one from USA for the carpet, the one from North America for the fishing nets, and all over the world. We are collecting everything in Ljubljana, in Slovenia. And in Slovenia, we start with this depolymerization. So from nylon waste, it becomes caprolactam. And then after this depolymerization, we start with the purification. The depolymerization is something really easy, not so hard, because it was already known in the chemical books that as soon as you can polymerize the nylon 6 can also be easily depolymerized. But the issue that also other competitors of ours faced when they tried to do it industrially is the purification. Because the purification, at the beginning, you should do it with three main chemicals that are toxic, really toxic, and they cannot be used industrially. They can only be used, let's say, in the lab, in the chemical lab, so where nobody cares about the chemicals that are doing this kind of things. But when you're doing it industrially, you have, of course, to take care of also the workers. It's the first things you have to do. So when we reached this point, we said, okay, we cannot use these solvents in our plant, so we have to find another options. And we found this, let's say it's also a funny story, because I think that it has been invented by a drug professor from Padova, because it's a kind of distillation process. It's how you do the grappa. I don't know if you know it, okay? So I think in my mind, I think it was just a professor, because we started the collaboration, of course, with the University of Padova and other universities all over the world. And they said, why don't we try to do a similar grappa process? Okay, and it works. So it's crazy. It started from a crazy idea, and then it really works. So we are doing this kind of process, this distillation process. So we have 11 columns, distillation columns. At each column, something, let's say, separating from the bottom side, from the upper side. It depends, of course. And after that, we have really, really a caprolactam that is the same, or at least for us, it has to be the same as the reference that we have, and the reference is the caprolactam that you buy from BASF or other chemical industry, okay? So this is more or less the story. And after that, as I said, everything is easier. So from the caprolactam, we can produce again the polymer in the same way as we produce the polymer with the normal caprolactam, but in this case, the name of the polymer is ECONYL, so it's a branded name. And this let us the possibility to collaborate with a lot of brands. We are already in the automotive sectors, but so as you said, as you see, we collaborate with Mercedes, with BMW, but we are mainly collaborating with them for the car mats, so for the carpets that are inside these cars. And now, since last year, I would say, we are also trying to collaborate with them for the printed parts, so for engine covers or other parts that are present in the car. And I would say now we just reached 2 homologation, but automotive sector is really long, so starting just 1 year ago, it's still satisfying for us. And we also hope that with the ELV norms, so the end-of-life vehicles, the OEMs and tiers will come to us more and more, because the solution is really easy. I mean, if you were using standard polyamide 6, you can replace it without any issue. I mean, the solution is already there. So going a little bit more in details with the automotive sectors, we have with the polyamide 6 you can use in different application under the hood parts, in the electrical and electronics, as already Ben from Lati shows. We can use an interior application for engine management solutions, structural application, and EV charging station. Of course, it's always a matter of balance between also performance, price, cost, and etc. So we also propose, for example, the mechanical recycled material, the Aquamidar, but of course it has some limitation for some application and especially for the color. So for example, Ben before it shows the presentation about the orange, okay? And for example, the orange color, it's hard to achieve it with a mechanical recycled material, because normally with a mechanical recycled you obtain gray, black, this kind of colors. So also in this case, the chemical recycled polyamide 6 can be really a solution, if of course the OEMs want to move to this recycled material. And another thing is that this is just an ongoing project, because the ELV regulation that maybe it will be active from 2030, they ask now they change a little bit the percentage, but they ask to the OEM to have 20% of post-consumer material in their car, and 15% of this 20% has to be closed loop. What I mean with closed loop, I mean that it has to come from car to car, okay? So in our case, we should have also a solution for the OEMs, because we are already collecting some car mats from from cars, and we can already separate these car mats and come back to the ECONYL, of course, so come back to the polymer. In this way, we should also give not only the yarn for the car mats, but we should give to the OEMs also compounds and polymers for example, under the hood parts. So this can be really a circular project with them. I just want to conclude with another thing, is that we mainly approach to the customer in a strange way, I would say, because we are proposing not a material, but we are really proposing them a project and a solution, a circular solution. So we want to collaborate mainly with the customer, not only giving the material and that's it, but proposing to them really a circular project. So we want to support them also with the spare parts, with parts that they don't know what to do with. So we try also to collaborate with other players in the recycling sectors in order to support them to, okay, we are not only giving you the material, but we want to collaborate with you in order to also design the parts in a way that at the end of the life it can be recycled again, and we can also manage, let's say, the take back of this material. Not only Aquafil, but maybe collaborating with other companies. So this is really a different approach, I would say, and hopefully it would work. It works at least in in the textile business. So we hope that also in this sector it will work. Why not? And that's it. So thank you so much. This is our plan. So thank you.
Yeah, till now we were talking about very high level plastics. So not, let's say, the normal plasticaccia that everybody is looking like devil. This is real high level plastics that can be used to make our world better. We have to know that we are 8 billions, and due to that fact, without plastics, we can't survive anymore. So this is what my message from today. And now, with Cossa Polimeri, we will talk about, let's say, plasticaccia, because Cossa Polimeri, we choose them. They have 60 years experience in the production of polymer compounds. Polymer compounds, I mean polypropylene, ABS, PC, ASA, and others. And they are specialized in making wonderful, it's not the right word, but very high level compounds with this plasticaccia. So, please, now you can come. I can't translate plasticaccia.
Very bad plastic or something like this.
Better plasticaccia.
Yeah, plastic.
Nice.
Good afternoon. I'm Luca Ferrari. I am sales manager at Cossa Polimeri, and I'm also involved in some purchases of some special raw materials. I am the last one making the presentation, and consider that the curve of attention usually lasts between 50 and 60 minutes. My main task today is to keep you awake, so please support me with this performing this task. But I will try to be as less boring as possible, so I hope I will succeed. So Cossa Polimeri has got its site in the north of Milan, in a place called Gorla Maggiore, close to Malpensa Airport. And it exists since 1964, when actually the name at that time was not Cossa Polimeri, it was Cossa Fratelli, because there were two brothers, Angelo and Armando Cossa. They went on producing compounds for 31 years. Then they sold the company to the big American distributor Ashland. So there was a kind of pause in our history for 3 years. Then Mr. Angelo Cossa, one of the two former owners, decided to restart the production in the area where we are now, again in Gorla Maggiore, also before it was Gorla Maggiore. And so the name became Cossa Polimeri, and it's still the name that we have now. Cossa Polimeri is, let's say, the main company of a small group of companies that includes Fiplast. Fiplast is producing biopolymer and hygienic compounds meant as breathable compound for the production of diapers. And Fratelli Cane, that is leader in injection and blow molding, so for industrial packaging and tanks. We work on an area, I'm going back, of course, to Cossa Polimeri only, which is the company that is involved in what we are talking about today. We work on an area of 20,000 square meters, of which 12,000 are covered. Our yearly production capacity calculated on the 11 months is 50,000 tons, and we employ 100 people. We have 10 extrusion lines. I'm talking about production lines, plus we have smaller lines for a lab test, production test, but say the production lines are 10. We have bulk storage capacity of 100 tons, both for finished goods and raw materials. Our brand name, I mean, if you find our products on the market, our brand name is Esta. Esta then takes the name of the resin with whom we produce the single compound. So you will see here, for example, Estaprop is polypropylene. Estadien is for ABS and ASA. Then SAN, polystyrene, polycarbonate, PBT. We have different PC, PBT, PC ASA, PC ABS blends. And last, but in this moment, in this era, probably even most important, the Estagreen recycled compounds. Estagreen is, I would say, the last child of the family, but is for us is of absolute importance because we know the importance of the environmental issue now in any production. It's not a matter only of plastic, but I think in any industry in the world now. 60% of our production, just to divide what we do, is polypropylene, meant as polypropylene mineral filled, glass fiber reinforced, and flame retardant. 20% ABS PS. The blends that I mentioned before are 15%, and then the small niche PBT ASA is 5%. Going to the sectors of the market that we supply with our compounds, you will see that they're quite balanced between automotive, that is 27. These are figures, of course, related to year 2024. 26 is household appliances. Furniture is 15, and electronics is the remaining 32%. Through the years, we were able to achieve several certifications. Okay, the most common ISO 9001, then the 14001, 45001, ISCC+, and the CSI recycled plastics. CSI recycled plastic for us quite important because CSI is an Italian independent institute that certifies the quality of the recycled compound. I mean, not only the quality of the recycled material that we introduce, the fact that it really contains, if we declare 30%, it's really 30. So that's why we decided to take this certification. We are working, I don't know if you can read it because it's down there, certification in progress. We have IATF, the International Automotive Task Force. And so we are confident to get it by mid of next year. Estagreen, which as I said before, is very important for us in this moment. So that's why I'm concentrating more in this presentation on this family of products, although I will also introduce the others. Estagreen, considering what happened in 2024, represents more than 20% in this moment of our production, around 22, and the realistic target is to get up to 30% in 2025. That's why project and development that we are making in this moment. So what is research and development is very much involved. The real majority is dedicated to this family of products, also because we want to supply sectors that are quite demanding, like automotive, of appliances. So we have to give stable, not only good quality, which is not an issue, but stable, reliable over time. That's why we try to use all, let's say, the possible carefulness in finding raw materials. So we use reprocessed granules because they can be kept more under controls. We select very well the raw material and the supplier, and every year we hold audits at our suppliers to be sure that they give continuity and they work always in the same way. As I said, the certification of CSI, we wanted to get it because it's not only Cossa Polimeri that has to say my product is good, but there is someone independent that checks the product and says, yes, it is. Or if it is not, it is not. But up to now, we were always successful when they checked us. Our product, Estagreen, can contain from 30% to 100% of recycled raw material of the polymeric part. What does it mean? That if I have, for example, a compound that is PP with 30% talc, of course the talc is talc, so it's not recycled. Recycled is the polymeric part. The limit of this kind of products for the recycled is that in some special application they can be not as efficient as the virgin material. Flame retardant, special colors, food contact. Okay, food contact is never given when there is a recycled material. High performance material, which does not mean, just to be clear, that if you want a flame retardant with recycled material, we cannot give. It can be given, but maybe you cannot demand to put 100% of the polymeric part in recycle, but will be later, I will show you one of this product, maybe 30%, because otherwise it fails. As also, if you need a high impact product, maybe the percentage has to be less than 100 or than 80, because otherwise it will not be successful. Going to introduce some of the products that we sell in automotive. These are two extra green polypropylenes, so made with recycled material. I would like to explain a bit. Our code are talking codes. I don't bother you with the first part, but the most important part is, of course, the word extra green, which means recycled material, and the last two parts of the code. In this case, for example, ATR and PIR. ATR means 80% of the polymeric part is recycled material. PIR means post-industrial. In the next slide, you will see that we have also PCR, which is post-consumer. So it happens that if you have to calculate the total, the percentage of recycled material in the total compound, it will be lower. This is just an example. If we have 30% of mineral filler in this compound and only 70% is the polymeric part, 80% or 70%, the reality is that this compound, if you consider total compound, has got 56% of post-industrial source. In this case, for example, is a product, as you will see also the others, approved by Stellantis, and this is for dashboard components. The second one, for example, in this case, I said we use from 30 to 100. This is an exception. Here we succeeded only up to 25 because the production is, the final product is heater component and baffles, as you see in the picture. Again, approved by Stellantis. And in order to give the mechanical characteristics that they required, we couldn't go higher than that. These are other two products with that one is 60% of recycled material, and it is, again, of the polymeric part, and for heater housing and heater components. The second one, and it is PCR, so this is a post-consumer recycled material. The other one is 100% because the final product is components of interior vehicles, so probably they didn't require, let's say, exaggerated mechanical properties. And so we are able to reach up to 100% again of the polymeric part, which means 80% of the total compound. So basically we run tests to see what we can achieve adding as much as possible of recycled materials. This is a special product that KUR means that is a copolymer ultra resistant, so far is a high impact polypropylene. In this case, the 35 is the percentage of total post-industrial source in the total compound, because the customer required to indicate it like this. So it means that in this case, if you calculate only the polymeric part, will be 45%, and the application is the glow box compartment. I'm also showing you one ABS product, made with recycled material. This is not, for example, this is an example of what I said before, that you can give recycled material and flame retardants. In this case, it's a V0. But of course, we couldn't add more than 30%. And this product is also antimony trioxide-free formulation, because, as you know, in this moment, it's still allowed, but there is the trend is towards going to be forbidden the ATO, so the antimony trioxide. So we are already developing formulation without, and we are, successful. This, in case, goes in the battery enclosure components. Now, some products that are virgin materials, so I finish with the extra green. These extra products are polypropylene, and in this case, they are black conductive compounds. The first one, conductive compound alone, both are for under the hood battery cover and the battery boxes, battery of not electric cars, so of the standard, let's say, cars, so not electric cars. The first one is only conductive. The second is also V0, so we are able to develop a flame retardant V0 product with conductive compound. The difference is only that here there is surface resistivity just a bit higher, but they work very well because it is below 10 elevated 5. And the only thing of the conductive compound, at least till the present knowledge, is that you can have them only black. I mean, there is no conductive compound that is neutral or any other natural or any other color. This is, again, for electric hybrid vehicle battery enclosures and battery housing, both. ASP means they are permanent antistatic. Permanent antistatic can be given, of course, neutral, it's no problem, natural. And it is permanent, so not like those working per migration that can have a duration of maximum 1.5 years, but they go and they have reached quite good level of surface resistivity because 10 elevated 9 is much better than the 10, 11, 10, 12 that can be achieved usually with normal migrating antistatics. Now going to ABS, which is one very much used also in automotive. I introduced 2 products. The first one is a V0 for battery enclosure again, and also antimony trioxide free. And the important thing of when we developed this ABS compound is that although we substituted the antimony trioxide with other flame retardants, we were able to keep unchanged the mechanical and thermal properties, which of course is a very important issue. The second one is simply permanent antistatic product with, again, good mechanical properties, and also goes in battery enclosure and component. The last 2 compounds that I want to introduce is, these are blend. I spoke about the blend, so I just selected twice. This is the PSA, is polycarbonate ASA blend. ASA is an it's a kind of ABS without but at the end, so having higher light stability. And in this case, we not only use the ASA, but we added also UV because the first one goes for exterior vehicle parts. This can give it also in colored options. And the second one that complies with the Volkswagen NOR PV3977 is for the interior lighting, but we need to add anti-UV because even the artificial light in the long term create yellowishing problems to the plastic. So we used and we added anti-UV anti-UV additive in order to prevent this yellowishing as much as possible. What I would like to point out, and then I finish, is that I have introduced some products just to show you our research, just to show you what we can do. We were always studying new products, but the motto of our company is flexibility, and our history, and even more the present, is to be a producer of tailor-made products, which means sit with the customer, listen to the needs, to the achievement they want to get, and to study product by product what can solve and give them success in their requirements. So for us, the main issue is not to say, okay, we have this product and okay, but say, this is just a selection, this is just something that can be shown of our research and development, but really for us it's important that the customer knows that we are there to try to solve any possible request, if possible to resolve and to work on it in a tailor-made way. Because it's always been our history as a, say, family company, and up to now it worked quite well. I want to thank you very much for your attention, and of course, if you have any question, I'm here. Thank you.
Thanks to Lati, thanks to Aquafil, and thanks to Cossa Polimeri. Now it's time for our sponsor. And I would like to start with Besser. Please, Giuseppe, come and help me.
Thanks a lot, Silvia, for your invitation. I wanted to thanks to everybody for your coming first. In August 2016, Mr. Mark Zuckerberg has been invited to talk in the Lewis University in Rome about these arguments, this potential discussion, which were their three secrets to reach the success that they had. I tried to fall down these three secrets in our company. First keyword was a mission. Mission for us means when we are a family company with President Mr. Giovanni Maina, 70 years old, but always present in our battlefield. And the mission for us, it's very simple. It's to create value, to create added value. And this is it's a must. Second keyword was a team. Team started this company like a family company, as the previous company introduced, like Lati, Cossa Polimeri, and so on, Aquafil. It's the same also for us. There is a team where there is a son, Mr. Samuele Maina, it's the general manager of Besser Hungary, it's here among us. And these are the our common goal to have this stronger team, to be a leader, to have a long tradition in this field, and to continue to invest and to improve. Last of these three keywords, it's resilience. Resilience we can translate, or I think to translate in our company, in terms of service, innovation, logistic. Few words, service. I don't think that now OMS Besser it's a manufacturing company. Now we are a problem-solving company because the customer then comes to talk with me. First of all, they have a problem, and our approach is to think together to solve this problem. We have a strong R&D, and together with the customer, together also with our partner and other suppliers and our team, we are able to think and to find a new solution. Obviously, for everybody, the cost reduction is a must. But the cost reduction for us doesn't mean to reduce, I don't know, the labor cost or the injection rate or what else. It means to think together in a different way the products than our customer put in our hands. In other terms, now the company has to be more and more service or completely a partnership with our customer. Second point, when our president is the first master about this point, it's innovation. We continue and we have continued in this more than 50 years to invest in terms of technology, to invest in terms of new plants and so on. And it's fantastic to work with them because when arrive new customer, old customer, and put on the table something then it's very strange, it seems impossible. His goal is, why we don't try to do it? And this is it's very, very a big motivational for everybody, including me. Last point, it's the logistic, because logistic means to create this presence of a different land closer to our customer and to support them at 360 degrees. This is our company. I invite you to our stand, also to offer an espresso, that's sure. And last but not least, Silvia, thanks to you. Thanks to all the other sponsors, UniCredit, the presence of Confindustria, and also for a very fantastic introduction. Lati, Aquafil, Cossa Polimeri, because also today I have learned something more. Also to Fabio, because also in the last months pushed me also to trust in this event, and I hope it's only the first of a lot of other events when we can be creative to invent in other countries or again in Hungary. And last but not least, also to Samuele Maina, when I invite here also for a very, very fast thanks to everybody, because Samuele is the general manager of Besser Hungary. It's a part of the family. 1 second. or only get up. It's unexpected.
Maybe for tomorrow he will not work with us, but it happens. Thank you, everybody. First of all, thank you to Silvia. 20 years of friendship, of, I can say that a woman difficult to find. Plastic. Plastic for her is not a work, is a mission. And what I present in has, and what I always do, is I always said, I have here also some of my customers, I said, I have some sons. What I can give to them. Alessandro, also you are here. What is your main goal? What you want to give to your children?
It's a dream.
Yeah.
Values for sure.
A better world. A green world. This is the dream, I think, of all the parents. To give them a better world. With money, they cannot buy healthily. They cannot do anything more. A green world can help them. So I would like to thank you, Silvia, as first promoter, plastic part producer, and everybody who day by day work to help me that my dream became something real with recycling. Thank you.
I am not so a friend of this guy, but anyhow, I don't know why, but it's okay. Okay, now it's working. The last sponsor, it's UniCredit, and Dr. Alessandro Paoli will be our speaker.
Thank you, Silvia.
Thank you. Welcome. Non mi piace.
I hope you were not friend of the mic and not of myself.
Yeah, we have problem with
Before I break it,
you know.
Thank you. Okay. First of all, thank you very much. It's a real pleasure for me being here. I want to thank the organization, Silvia for sure, and it's always quite interesting for me to listen to these presentations and to have the clear grasp about the abilities, the capabilities that our entrepreneurs have in Italy and worldwide. I need to give a warm thanks to Confindustria Ungheria, to Roberto Massucco, the president, for the invitation, and also obviously to Patrizio Deitos, president of Confindustria Europa, and to all the team which actually helped supporting and preparing this event. I have to tell you that UniCredit and Confindustria Europa go a long way. We just recently renewed our partnership because we strongly believe in this partnership and the opportunity to keep working together, bank and Confindustria, in order to provide to our entrepreneurs the opportunities, the counterparts, the visibility to address opportunities to grow internationally. My name is Alessandro Paoli. I'm responsible for International Center Italy, the Italian unit which has responsibility to support, cover, advisor all of our corporate clients seeking for opportunity to grow internationally, and also for potential non-Italian investors looking for opportunities to grow in Italy. So as you can clearly understand, our effort, my effort, is trying to be at the right place at the right moment, just to be ready to provide our clients, our customers with the proper advisory, proper support, and the proper, let's say, introduction to the different markets in which we operate. It is a fact to me. I've been working in in our international network for a long year, actually, in the US. But I mean, it's a fact, it's based on my experience, the fact that international focused clients are by far the most attractive segment for any corporate franchise in terms of profit, risk, and loyalty. Being able to grow internationally and to getting access to new market translates into expertise, new consumers, new exposures to different scenarios. Diversification risk is something that usually is not mentioned too much, but it's always important because, I mean, the more you operate in different markets, the less you lower your relative risk of being linked to one single market, domestic market, in terms of upturns or downturns, particularly. Another last but not less important thing is the marginality. Generally speaking, I even hear experience talks. Marginality, return on investment by companies which invest internationally are much better, much larger as compared to the one which are just mainly focused on a single market, the domestic one. So having said that, if you take a look at UniCredit, clearly, I really like you to see a very international group, a very international conglomerate. This is a result of, a quite important investment process that we took in several years, which brought us to essentially operate in 13 markets with a presence which is not the presence of a rep office of a branch, but with a presence of banks. So the message here is that whenever you see the logo UniCredit, and you see this in Hungary, and actually I have the pleasure today to be with Giacomo Volpi, which is the Deputy Chief Executive Officer of our UniCredit Bank Hungary, and also some representative of our international department of UniCredit Bank Hungary. Having said that, presence is fundamental. So we are operating these markets with a network of banks, which translates being able to offer to our clients essentially the basic similar products we are able to offer them in Italy or in Germany, our core markets. UniCredit, as of now, simply see us as 15 million clients, of which more than 1 million are corporate clients, and see us also as the second largest corporate lender in Europe. That's what we are. That's the reason why we want to be close to our entrepreneurs. Having said that, it's important for me to match this role of clients, corporates which are willing to grow internationally, and our capabilities. We are not perfect, but we try. And having said that, it's important also to understand that companies which decide to grow internationally have essentially two main ways to do that. The first one, and I'm saying that because if we follow this line of thought, clearly you'll be seeing also the kind of support that a bank can give you, respectively when you're placing yourself in your strategy to grow. The first step is clearly to have entrepreneurs willing to create manufacturing production, which will be sold outside, exporters. In this case, clearly, the bank has to have a very strong domestic function in order to support these exporters with the transactional services, banking services that are needed. International payments, risk management, FX risk, all the kind of stuff which must be provided to the client locally, domestically, in exact market in which they operate, they produce. There is then the second step. It's a second because it's a much more complicated, much more strategic in a sense. And usually it's a step which is taken by exporters, which is a step in which the entrepreneurs look at different markets abroad, in which they decide, for obviously, sometimes also because they know that as exporter, to build, create, or acquire lasting interest in companies or corporations in those specific markets. If you follow my line of thought again, you understand that for a bank, it's impossible to be of support or to create added value to these kind of clients unless you have the local capability to be there where your client, your entrepreneurs, your corporate client decides to invest. And that's a key point for a bank, a group bank, which is willing to support entrepreneurs globally. Any other message that you'll be receiving, we can do that, we can that, I know another bank, that's not a real message. The real message is be able to stay in the market in which you decide to invest and try to do our best to support you in respect to that. I like this, but I try to be quick and close it up. It's always important for me to give you another message. Internationalization is a key message for entrepreneurs, clearly, and it's always mentioned as a way to grow. But I believe that there is no strategic approach targeting the internationalization of a company which can be managed with standard approach. So there is, in the American way, one fits all doesn't work when we're talking about internationalization. My belief and my experience tells me that any single approach, any single decision by an entrepreneur to invest in a different country has to be supported by a specific tailored approach and a closeness between partners, Confindustria, banks, in order to make sure that we are able to provide him with a proper consultant, a proper advisor. Another key topic to be mentioned is that whoever talks to you about internationalization as a simple project, simple strategy, something that could easily done, is not telling you the story. The whole story means that whoever decides to grow has a big price at the end of the road, but also has a very complex road to take over. And that's the reason why it's important, in my opinion. I saw a lot of clients, and so I guess I am allowed to say that it's important that in this specific case, you try to find good partners in order to be supported in the proper way, in order to know the markets, know the peculiarities of each single situation, the headwinds that you might encounter whenever you address a different market. And that's in this respect is something that clearly Confindustria can provide. But I guess also given our background, international presence here, also UniCredit can provide. Having said that, simplification, not a problem, but with a good partners is something that needs to be done and could be done by someone which has the proper expertise, the proper presence in the field, and possibly has the capability also to support you, not in the first 5 steps of your growth, but also in the long term. One last thank you to all of you for participating, for the invitation of being here. Once again, very thank to all the companies which presented today. They were very interesting presentation, and also another thank you to Confindustria Ungheria, Confindustria Europa. Thank you very much.
So we are at the end, and I want to say, everybody, a message. We are 8 billion people. If we don't learn to turn waste into value, we will not survive. And believe me, plastic can save the world. Because plastic is light, possible to make everything, and can be reused and recycled. So please, today my message is that we have to learn to turn waste into value. Now, I thanked everybody, and I forgot before, sorry, to say my thanks to Confindustria that gave me this opportunity. And now the last word is for Roberto Massucco to say thank to everybody.
Yeah, just a few words to say that I don't know you, but I found today amazingly interesting, really. Yeah, Luca, you said that after 1 hour, the attention, the curve of attention, but I have to say that what Ben, Nicole, and you did today kept my attention up to 100% all the day long. So really thank you for the high standard of your speeches. Really, really standard. Also, the chemical part was absolutely interesting. So no boring at all. So really, thank you. I would like also to thank Mr. Orvat Miklos, which is the vice president of MGUS, which is the Confindustria, let's say, here in Hungary. He came back from Japan yesterday and he's honoring us with his presence. And yes, I agree with Samuele when he said that we hope that our future will leave the word, a better word to our sons for their future. So thanks for all these. And just as a closing, I want to say a huge thank you to Nicolette Tomasi, our director. She did an amazing job. I think everything was just perfect. So thank you, Nicolette, for your job. Really, really outstanding. Thank you to Silvia. You were quite nervous for being the moderator, yeah, but you did a wonderful job. So we know who we will. We know who will be the moderator for the next events. We already checked that thing. And one big thanks also to Fabio, that as Silvia said, he is the one who has the ideas and then push people to do it. To work, yes. So thanks really to everyone. Now there is some buffets and networking is open. Thank you.